Good morning, welcome to my channel. In the previous video we have done with the 6th chapter, that is recursion. Now in this video we'll start with the 7th chapter, that is idea of algorithmic efficiency. So what do you mean by this? In this basically we have to find out the complexity, in which we have to find out in which complexity our algorithm works. So we have various factors which find out which predicts the performance of an algorithm. So we can say that performance of an algorithm depends upon two factors. So what is that? Performance of algorithm depends upon two factors. So very first is what? That is the internal factor. And second is what? That is a external factor. So the thing is, what do you mean by internal factor and what do you mean by external factor? So in the internal, what the thing is? Time. So how much time is required to run for the proper algorithm? So that is internal factor. Memory. How much memory is required for the program to run? So these two things comes under the internal factor. External factor. External factor. What do you mean by external? Very first is the size. What is the size of the input? What is the speed of the computer? And second, what is the quality of the compiler? So all these are the 3 points are there which tells us what is the external factors, because whatever the speed it is, it also depends upon the performance. So it perform well. What is the size of the input? If the size is small, so it obviously it will do it little bit early. If the size is big, it will take some time. So all these things are the points which depends upon the performance of the algorithm. So next is, what do you mean by computation? Okay, so what do you mean by computational complexity? So it consists of two words. One is computation and second is complexity. So name itself signifies, what do you mean by computation? Computation involves the problems to be solved. So what do you mean by involves the problems to be solved, and we have various algorithms also to solve them. So computation means we have various problems. So, but the thing is, we have to solve those all problems with the help of algorithms. What do you mean by complexity? Complexity is what it refers to the how much efficiently we are solving that algorithm. So what do you mean by that? It refers to the determination of efficiency of an algorithm. Means how easily we can solve that algorithm, whatever the resources we are taking. So how sufficiently and how necessarily are those resources so that it will solve our all program. So these are the computational complexity. So very first thing is, now we have to find out how we can estimate the complexity of algorithm. So very first thing, how we can estimate now. Estimate complexity of what? Obviously algorithms. So very first here is a big O notation. Big O notation is to depict an algorithm's performance. Depict an algorithm's performance, or we can say it's a growth rate. So whatever the growth rate is, we have to find out with the help of big O notation. So when growth rate, obviously what it determines? It determines when input size grows. When input size grows, so obviously it works with its growth rate. Let us take example. If we say algorithm takes O n square times. If an algorithm says O n square time, what do you mean by this? It means it takes n square steps for input size n. Again I am saying, if we say an algorithm take O n square times, what do you mean by this? This algorithm will carry the task at most n square times, maximum n square steps for the input size n. And the thing is, more the number of steps. So what the thing we analyze from here? More the number of steps, more is the time taken, and obviously if the time is more, lesser is the performance. So what we have to conclude from this thing, more the number of steps, more is the time taken, and lesser is the performance. Okay. So this is a simple big O notation. Now what do you mean by dominant term? Dominant term means whatever the maximum number there is, you can take only that complexity. So if I am saying there is a n square plus bn plus c. So what is the complexity of that? That is a O n square. Why? We have to make it as a big O notation because here the maximum is a n square. So I just take as a big O notation as a O n square. So this is known as a dominant term. So always we have to take a dominant term only for finding out the complexity. So let us find out the complexity of various loops. How we can calculate the complexity? So very first I will tell you about the loops. So if I just write for I in range n, m is equal to m plus 2. So what is the total time here? Okay, just see. So for this I in range n, how many times this loop will run for the n times? So at this step, this will take the constant time. So whatever the thing which is not written in the control structure, you just take it as a constant time. So what is the constant time here? Suppose I said it as a c. So what is the answer here? So for this has to be it is to be done at the n times. This whole loop is to be worked for the n time, you can say like this. And this execution statement for the constant time, that is c. So what do you mean by this? C multiply by n. So you can write here Cn. So what is the O notation? O notation is On. Means for this loop you have a complexity of On. Means total time taken by the loop to execute all its step is a On. So this is for the loops. Now if I want to do it for the nested loop, no, I am not doing here loop now. I am taking a nested loop. So what you have to do? So for the nested loop, what you have to do? I just write the program for I in range n, for j in range n, k is equal to k plus 1. Now see, so now this is a whole loop which comes in the 4. So obviously how much time it will take? It will take the n times. So I just write here n. Now for this j in range n, this is again loop, so it will again run for the n times. Now this is the constant, so it will run for the c times. So what is the total time? So you have to find out, this one is in the common loop, so I just write c multiply by n, and this will come in further this loop, so I just write it what? Again multiply by n. So what is the answer? C n square, or in the dominant term how you can write? O n square. So this is the big O notation of the nested loops. Okay. Now we have a third is a consecutive statement. So what is that? Third one is a consecutive statement. So in the consecutive statement, how we can do? I just write x is equal to x plus 1. Means two statements are consecutive, means there is a statements at the consecutive position, means साथ साथ. For I in range n, m is equal to m plus 2, for j in range n, for k in range n, a is equal to a plus 1. So just see, this is a simple statement, so it will be a constant term, that is c0 I can write. For I in the range n, so this is a loop, so this loop will execute the n times. This is again the constant term, so let it be a c1. This is a again loop, so again it will move for the n times. This is again inner loop, it will also execute with the n time. This is again the constant term, so it will be the c2. So what is the total time now? So just see here. Firstly c0. So this is the inner term, what it will be a c1n. It is again the inner term, so what is this? c2 and n square. So if I want to check within this dominant term, so what is that? That is on square. Okay, so in this way we find out the consecutive complexity of the consecutive statements. Okay, now if we have to check the complexity of if then else statement now. Now next is if then else. If then else, how we can check that? If length is equal to list 1 not equal to length of list 2, return false. Else for I in range n, if list I is equal to list 2 of I, return false. So what do you mean by this? So this is what? This is a computation at the constant term, because this is a length only. We are not using a for loop. So this is right now we consider it as a constant. So constant 0 is comes there. Now this is again one statement. So again this is constant 1. Now this is a for loop. So for loop. Now this will move for the n times. Why? Because it is written as a n here. Again this is one statement. So C1 is here. So this is C2. Again this is one statement. So what it is to be a C3. Okay, so what is the total time now? So very first is C0 plus C1 as it is. Then this n times you have to do this C2 plus C3. So what is the dominant term here? The dominant term here is n. This one. Okay. So next is the logarithmic complexity. In the logarithmic complexity, we have a complexity of O log n only. So what is that? For the logarithmic, we have a O log of n. So this is the complexity of logarithmic complexity. So these all are the things which are in the complexity. So one more term is left in this chapter, that is a what? Best, average and worst complexity. So I just make one diagram. Okay, so this is what? This is input size, and this is what? Number of steps taken. So what is this? We have a three terms: best, average and worst. In the best, average, when we find out any complexity of algorithm, so we have a three terms: best, average and worst. So in the diagram also it is clearly understand that in the best case, it means it is defined by the number of smallest step. It is defined by the minimum number of steps taken by the input. So this is a below, so we can say that minimum. So this is number of the steps taken. So if I am saying this is a 10, 20, 30, 40. So obviously this is the minimum step. So best case complexity is defined by the minimum number of the steps. Average is obviously in between only, that is of minimum maximum. Worst case complexity is defined by the maximum number of the step taken by any input. So it represented the curves through the highest point of the column. But the best case, it is represented by the curve through the lowest point of the column. So in this way we can find out all these best, average and worst complexity. So this is all about this chapter, idea of algorithm efficiency, and keep subscribing my channel to get the new notifications of the video. Thank you so much.